So welcome back, and it's back to Room 1-on-1, and it's back to Premiership football, and Celtic have got another wee trip to the Highlands in mind. Victoria Park for the third time this season as Ross County host us this Sunday afternoon. And as always, to help me look at our opposition, I am delighted to welcome Ross County SLO, Kenny Maclennan, back to the show. Kenny boy, how are you, pal?
All right, Scott, yourself, mate?
I'm tip-top, mate. I'm tip-top. For those who obviously don't know, I'd booked you in to speak to me yesterday, should I say. And even though I'd been talking about the Scotland game all day and I was kind of looking forward to it, it totally went out of my mind when I thought I was speaking to you. And then you said to me the Scotland game, I was like, oh, we'll put it off. And I'm glad we did, mate. I'm really glad we did.
Cracking result, yeah.
Wow.
It's not often we get that kind of result, but wow, 6 points from the first two games.
Yeah, as somebody, without wanting to poke you about your age and stuff, right? So kind of when I was growing up, obviously Scotland were qualifying for things. Well, we never got the groups and stuff, but we qualified generally for everything. And I always found it kind of sad that a generation missed out on that being at tournaments, because being at tournaments is shit hot. And they had that wee touch it with that tournament there. But see the fact it was moved about, it's just annoying. See to get to this one in Germany, it would be fantastic for them. Fantastic for the guys who go and see Scotland regularly, for all the young team around Scotland.
Yeah, I agree. I'm with you. Like I think you know, there's a fair bit of excitement. You watched that stadium last night.
Mm-hmm.
It's just bouncing, like, you know, and it's great to see it packed like that.
It really is.
People getting behind it, you know, and Clark's done a fantastic job. He's got a nice, young, talented team there, and they look like a really good bonded bunch, you know. And he's not scared to go and try something different, like to go to somebody else to, you know, down somewhere, like the boy that's come in goals and that, you know. He's
yeah.
You know, whereas before, I think people, you know, they might have just stuck to the two big teams in Scotland for a lot of the players, you know. He's quite happy to sort of shop about and have a good look around to see what's out there, and he's done a fantastic job.
The irony is he's Spellick Kilmarnock. He's probably set him up to be the better Scotland manager than somebody who did come from maybe just England or maybe Celtic and Rangers, because he's sitting there and he's looking at guys and he's going, you've got the talent, you've got the attitude, the ability to be up here. So it's but see what you're saying about Clark. I mean, you think about what Clark, the memories Clark's gave the nation in such a short. It's brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Thoroughly enjoyed it last night.
No, good, very good, and we really wound the Spanish up there.
Oh wow! But I'll tell you, it was interesting. One of my friends in my group chat, he said it was like watching Spain from the 90s, and I was like, that's exactly what it was like.
Yeah.
All bluster, all this, but actually toothless.
Aye, shocking, like, you know, and their after-match comments and stuff like that. You just think such bad losers, you know.
Aye.
But then go back to your paella, boys, and just crack on and get on with it. You know?
I mean, being a Scotsman, you're generally waiting for it to fall back in your face, but take the wins and celebrate the wins and commiserate anything else when it comes. Right, enjoy yourself. But let's talk about your club. We kind of spoke about it just before. Is there anything going on at the club that you kind of want to tell the people about and celebrate?
Well, the club's always looking to do different things. It's always looking to be as progressive as it can be. It's obviously very difficult, you know, one of the smaller clubs in the league, and you know, for example, you think about putting in VAR and stuff like that. You know, the cost that is to Ross County compared to like Hibs, Hearts, Celtic, Rangers. You know, for you guys putting it in and stuff like that, it's maybe a wee just drop in the water because you've got the big support, the big numbers coming through your turnstiles, and you can afford that hit. For a club the size of Ross County, you know, putting in technology like that, the cost that to a small club is phenomenal, you know. But they're always trying to do things differently, you know, and they're always looking at sort of initiatives, community initiatives as well, to help out the community. And one of the things the club are doing this season, Scott, that's different to last season is the county kitchen, where they're taking sort of senior sort of like community people and senior season ticket holders into the club sort of once a week, and actually providing dinner and almost like a hospitality package for, but without the match sort of thing, you know, and looking after our senior people in the community, just, you know, they're aligned to the club, you know, and I think that's a great thing to see. I love seeing that sort of thing happen, you know, because it just means that the club are trying to sort of to help out where they can. Everybody's struggling at the moment financially, you know, and a little thing like that can just make people just lift their mood, you
100%.
know. So yeah, little things like that, and all the coaching that goes on throughout the Highlands, and little things like that. For a club of its size, it has a huge reach, you know, up to Orkney and Shetland and to the Western Isles and whatever else, you know. They're always going around schools and down as far as Elgin and stuff like that as well. They've got a huge spread, you know.
That's excellent. That's excellent. As you say, in this time of now where it seems nobody gives a fuck, I mean, at least somebody showing some compassion and all that's nice, innit? Kind of makes you feel a bit better about punters, aye. And especially in football, which can be so fucking blinded by shit. But anyway, well done, Ross County. That's a good start. Now, it's going to go down the way for there, mate. Right, the last time me and you spoke was way back in August last year. Summer was disappearing, and there was lovely fresh hope in the Dingwall air at that point. So we've got lots to cover. Right, so as always, Kenny boy, we'll fire through what's happened, right? So we'll just give a wee summary. As always, anything you want to batter in with, you fling yourself in, but we'll fire through it. And so bear with me.
No worries.
So Malcolm Mackay started the season as manager. He's second since replacing John Hughes. The League Cup came and went. 3 wins for 4 games, along with a penalty win in a group with Buckie, Thistle, Dunfermline, Alloa, East Fife, meant the Staggies finished in top spot and a home draw against League Cup holders Celtic. Celtic travelled up for a Wednesday night match, and a 4-1 defeat ended up County's thoughts of the League Cup success for the season. Obviously, Celtic went on and won the Cup. Right, we can come back to the games between each ourselves. But so league-wise, not a great start. 4 defeats from 5, including a 3-1 defeat to Celtic, despite drawing for much of the match. Wasn't ideal. The 1-0 home win over Killie, the only shining light. So up until the World Cup, which coincidentally started after Ross County's own visit to Celtic Park and a 2-1 defeat, County sat in 10th place. 16 games played, 4 wins, 3 draws, 9 defeats. 2 points off 9th place Motherwell, 3 points above Dundee United in last place. Now, since the World Cup, to be honest, things haven't got that much better. Only 2 wins, both at home, but both big wins in fairness. A 3-0 win over Killie and a recent 4-0 battering of Dundee United. However, of those 13 games, 8 defeats, with those 2 wins and 3 draws. So that leaves County in 11th place, 6 wins, 6 draws, 17 defeats, 25 goals scored, 43 conceded, goal difference of -18, 24 points on board, 2 ahead of last place United and 1 off of Kilmarnock. And as a result of that, United, Killie and County have confirmed their bottom half finishes for the season. Right, so that's where we are in terms of league-wise. Now, what have we got to say? Because there's a glaring thing that I'm going to touch on, but let's hear it from the horse's mouth.
Okay, so I mean, obviously that doesn't make great reading when you hear that. I think Malky and Don would be the first to say that things probably haven't gone as well as they thought they would this season with regards to not so much the recruitment, but maybe how quickly that recruitment has gelled. It's probably taken a bit longer than they would have expected. And then you've got things like breaks into the World Cup and international breaks and all the things. We just seem to be just getting onto a wee bit of a run, and then there's a break.
Right, okay.
Another break, and there's another break, and when you're turning over a number of players and stuff like that, and you're trying to gel a team, it's not easy. Like if you have all these breaks and interruptions during the league, that's no excuse, but because every team has that. But I just feel that it's historically been an issue trying to get players to come up to Ross County, because it's away up the top of the country, and a lot of these young guys, they're not sure what they're coming up to, if they're like a nightlife or whatever else, So, but we have recruited reasonably well. Young Danda's a cracking player, and even getting Eamon Brophy, in January there, and the partnership that he's starting to create with Jordan White is, it's there for everybody to see. It's we've definitely lacked that type of player, a gifted, two-footed, clever forward player. Since we lost Liam Boyce, we've never really replaced that type of player. But you kind of got that in Brophy. He takes the ball into his feet. He can turn a defender. He's just got everything, and he links up well with the big guy Jordan White. You'll see that on Sunday. So that's a positive, but that's only just happened in January. If we'd had him earlier in the season, I don't think we would be where we are. And I think it's always a struggle to try and get that type of player. And I think when he became available, he obviously snapped him up.
Yeah.
It just hasn't worked for him at St Mirren for some reason. He was
he has been a really good Scottish Premier League striker, isn't he? I mean, he's always in like Kilmarnock and stuff like that.
Yeah, and I think he looks like he's kind of on form with us. He's looking like he's enjoying his football, so hopefully it works out for him. Whether we'd be able to hold on to him, I think it would probably cost us a fortune to buy him out of his contract, but we just have to see how things pan out. But there's no doubt it's going to be a battle for us, Scott.
Yeah.
We're down there with two teams that are, they're streetwise. But that's not to say that we can hold our own, as we've shown when they come up here. So I would hope that we can still get results, and get enough points. Listen, if we finish 10th, I'll be happy.
Yeah, of course. Right, I'm going to jump in because you started touching there, and it was something I wanted to bring up, but I think we've kind of got to go through the winter transfer window before we can get a good idea. Right, yeah. So before I get into it, from everything I've looked at and looking at all your games and looking at the results, scoring goals has been massive, and we ultimately know where that kind of stems from. Well, as I say, I'll go through this and we can come back and have a chat of that, right? So this transfer window, well, the club sent a good few lads out on loan. However, right back Callum Johnson, who joined the team from Portsmouth in the summer, departed the club for Mansfield Town after making 21 appearances for the club. I don't know what happened there. Young players Logan Ross, Andrew McLeod both went on loan to Brora Rangers. 20-year-old forward Matt Wright went to Falkirk for the remainder of the season. Adam McKinnon signed on for another loan with Montrose. And finally, another signing in the summer, Kenyan-born forward William Akio joined Raith Rovers on loan. The South Sudanese international has scored 1 goal in 14 appearances this season. Now, incomings, like I say, obviously goal scoring has been identified. As 27-year-old former Kelly and Hamilton striker Eamon Brophy was signed on loan at St Mirren. Former Hibs and Dundee United striker 31-year-old Simon Murray was picked up after a fantastic spell at Queen's Park. Malcolm Mackay tipped into his old contacts and picked up 19-year-old striker Josh Stones from Wigan on loan. And finally, Noah Kenny, a former Leeds United youth player, was signed on loan from Premier League side Hibs. A Liberian international, Kenny plays in midfield and can turn it in defence, and he only actually joined the Edinburgh side in the summer after his release from the Yorkshire side. Now, looking at your game, so obviously you had Reagan Cook last year, who had this fantastic season, but Homebhoys as well was always really important. And losing the two guys in the summer. Now, it's interesting what you just said to me about it's not so much that the transfer windows have been bad, they've just took more time. Whereas last season, everyone seemed to boom, everyone of them landed right. And it's interesting that you're saying that you're still rating the guys, it's just that they're taking, and that's fair, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes Regan Charles Cook, when he first arrived at County, I remember thinking, whoa, who's this guy? This guy doesn't look like he's made up for this league. You know what I mean? He's too slight, whatever, I just kind of see it. Following season, he was like a completely different player. And I think COVID, lockdowns, all that sort of stuff, and even although football was back, these guys were kind of like away from their families and
100%.
And I think that had a huge impact on him when he first arrived. But the second season, you could just see the smile on his face when he was playing his football, and he was just scoring for fun. And I think we got the best out of them that season, and then unfortunately we lost him, and that's kind of what happens, It's like we always seem to have that turnover of players. We went 40 games unbeaten when we came up into the Premiership. Yeah, and when we had and when you looked at the team, Rocco Quinn, Richie Britton, Stuart Kettlewell, just no superstars, but a unit,
a team, yeah,
a team that had played together for a long period of time. And we're a team that just knew each other, just knew what they were doing, Paul Lawson pulling the strings, just in front of the back, and the back four, and a strong back four. So when you look at that, you think, well, is it always about? It's so frustrating sometimes, because you think, is it always about going off and getting guys, from England or whatever, and trying to find people that'll do it, or can we just try and build that team and try and hold on to people long enough to gel a decent unit?
Well, how much did guys like Mitch Galdine cost you? Didn't it cost you big bucks? Never came for you. I mean, and these guys were like solid parts of your best sides.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? And then you go and look at St Johnstone. I mean, I appreciate St Johnstone have struggled since, but St Johnstone just found these guys and built a unit. It's not always about who you bring in, it's about the man at the top, really, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. It is. It's got a lot to do with it, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. And last season it worked. We ended up in the top 6. This season it just hasn't. And I think, looking back, I don't think I've seen 2 seasons where it's been good for us. We've either gone above our punching above our weight, or we've kind of left ourselves sort of like in the lower part of the league, So, and then a few seasons before that, we were just bouncing around at the bottom, constantly trying for survival, But we've been in the Premier League a long time now, and we've come down. We've dropped down once and come straight back up, which other teams like Hibs, Dundee United, Hearts found difficult, So there's something to be said about it. But I think holding on to the core of your team is crucial. I think if you have too much of a turnover, it's always going to take time.
Yeah, 100%.
So, and I think you guys have seen it in the past over the years as well. Where your recruitment at the moment is obviously spot on. You've opened up that Japanese league, and you've got these guys coming in that just seem to be hitting the ground running. And I think that's huge.
Yeah, I remember years ago when we were going through our 9 in a row, and I'm talking to my friend, and he's the same age as me, and when you win that much, you can get blasé about it. And I remember saying to him, all it takes is us to have one really bad transfer window and Rangers to have one really good transfer window. And I've seen it. I've seen it under Martin O'Neill. I've seen it under. I mean, I've seen it so many times, and that's exactly what happened. And flinging the COVID stuff and all that. But it's interesting what you're saying, because we spoke about it last year in the midst of this particularly good season for you, and we spoke about the guys who'd hit the ground running, and we got Charles Cook, who was eventually looking to this player. But I mean, this season, it's like you said, see if you'd managed to get Brophy in, but Brophy in
Yes.
a couple of months before, because I'm looking at your games, right? There's the odd game, obviously, but you guys are narrowly getting beat, especially in games against us. You guys are narrowly getting beat, and a goal scorer sometimes is the difference, isn't it?
Yeah. But you know what it is as well, Scott, I think, is that the games where we struggle quite a lot are the games where we're expected to take the points.
Right, okay, aye.
Against the likes of St Mirren, Livy, St Johnston, you know, Motherwell.
Well, we brought up the Dundee United game,
games,
right? I mean, that Dundee United game, 4-0, stands out.
Yes.
But on the 28th of December, you went to their midden and got pumped 3-0 after them. You know? That's really the games you've got to be winning.
Absolutely. And I think to be honest, looking at it, and you're saying, you know, you were only narrowly beaten by ourselves and whatever, and Rangers. And I think it's because those games are more open.
Aye.
You know, whereas the other games are more of a battle because both teams know they're similar and they've got to just keep it tight. Whereas against Celtic, Rangers, Dundee United, Hearts, Hibs, there's more space in the game for us to actually play football. And we've got some good footballers like Jan Danda, you know. And so I think it benefits us to be playing a game that's more open. You'll get better football out of us. You know?
Yeah. So, I mean, let's look at the squad, right? So, straight away, Ikavetti, who obviously scored twice against Celtic this season, he, alongside Jordan White, he's turned out the most times this season with 34 appearances. White at the same time with his 34. He tops your goal scoring with 7 goals in all competitions. Now, nobody's really coming close to these 7 goals. There's a few guys with 3 goals. It was interesting I mean, we look here at the stats that Jan Danda's got 3 for 29 games, but even Brophy has now got 3 goals in 6 matches for you.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, that's huge, isn't it?
If we'd had him earlier, I'm telling you, we wouldn't be where we are.
Yeah.
Because that 2 guys playing 2 up front and the link between the 2 is just there for everyone to see. And that's going to. You mean there'll be a few difficult moments for Celtic on Sunday. There really will.
I don't mean to go with
obviously, but
the old classic, but Jordan White is going to give everybody problems.
Yeah,
he does. I mean, it's just a fucking natural size of him.
And Brophy will shoot from anywhere. You know, we're notoriously bad for that. You know, we don't test the keeper enough. You know, we always try to walk the ball into the net, and you cannot do that against Celtic and Rangers and teams that have got more talent. You know, you have to be in their faces and not let them play their game. You know,
how's Murray looked?
Murray's all right, actually. I think he's going to take a wee bit longer to adjust to his teammates than Brophy has. Brophy just seems to have just clicked right away.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how that's possible, whether it's just his style of football or whatever it is, but you can see Danda looking at Brophy all the time to see
right.
And line him up, you know, and there's a good understanding there between the two. So yeah, no, there's positive signs there. It's just unfortunate that we're in the position we're in and things are happening good now when it would have been good if it was like 2 months ago or whatever, or 3 months ago, you know.
So bearing in mind the results and the kind of placing in the table, who are the guys that this season you've kind of went right, fair dues, it's no really went well, but these guys are they're big players for your team?
I would say that Callahan in midfield, he was excellent last season. This season it hasn't quite worked for him at times. You know, he's found himself on the bench. Tilson again not featuring so much, but maybe because of the change in formation. Danda's getting more games now, and I think obviously Danda, when you watch him play, you just think, what a player.
Right.
We'll be lucky to hold on to him, to be honest.
So how long did he say? He signed a 2-year deal in 2022. Right. So the sad thing is, unless you sign him up again, it's probably this summer you're kind of looking to get something back. Aye.
Yeah, that's what's going to happen, you know. That's where we are, you know.
And I've always said, Kenny, me and you never ever get a dividend for player sales, so I'd rather watch them than sell them.
Absolutely, the same. Yeah, I'm the same. Like, but I mean, you guys must be desperate for us to stay in the league, because up here is the only clean air you get.
I was wondering where you were going with that, man. I'm going to say, I've got to admit, right? I'll tell you, it's a bit different. A Saturday at 12 o'clock, Ross County in Dingwall was lovely. A Sunday, no so lovely. That fresh air's no so welcome on a Sunday at 12 o'clock, I tell you.
I hate these games that get adjusted and switched around for TV or whatever else. It's 3 o'clock.
How's the keeper look this season? Because every time I watch Ross Laidlaw, I always just think he's a good keeper, and nobody talks about him.
Scott, he is a good keeper and he's solid. I think if you look at it, mostly it's been either sort of like a mistake in the defence, or it's been a long range effort or something that's caught him out. But he doesn't make that many mistakes.
Doesn't make many mistakes, no.
Very experienced, and I really like the guy. I think Laidlaw's brilliant. I just think that I would like to see. I mean, the boy Kenny you were talking about there, he seems to be like a sort of sitting midfielder, and I think that's quite good sometimes because it protects the back four.
Yeah, of course.
But it just depends on who you're playing as well. Like, I mean, it's very difficult. We're going to have to be 100% on Sunday, and you guys are going to have Vlad a bad pakora or something,
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, or something, somebody sneaks into the King's Mills with some dodgy stuff or whatever, But
Right, so let's look at the last 5 games, if you will. Right, so let's start with the Rangers game. Right, Rangers won, like you said, open game. You're at Ibrox, it's a free hit. Even though you're in that point, it's a free hit. And I watched the games, and obviously Rangers have had a lot more shots and a lot more chances and stuff like that. It took a really late deflected goal to beat these that day. Yeah. I mean, some decisions on the day were a bit iffy as well, but Jordan White scored. I mean, Jordan White, I'm led to believe, is a massive Rangers fan, but I mean, that was a smashing goal he scored. I mean, nobody was getting near him that. So you must have took heart for that game.
Oh, definitely.
At that point.
Definitely. I think we go down to these games, and I guess I don't know what the manager says to the guys. He probably just says, "Look, just get out there and enjoy yourself, play your football, express yourself. You're not expected to win. You're the underdog. Just go in there and just enjoy yourself and just play your football. It's a big stage for you. Make a name for yourself. We go into these games. Our games are not based on those 4 games. Our seasons are based around taking points off the teams that around us, or maybe sneaking some of Hibs, Dundee United, Hearts, or whatever. It's very rare that we get something from Celtic or Rangers.
You're talking about that. Your next game is another away game. You were at St Mirren. Now, I watched the highlights of this, and this kind of comes back to the goals being a problem. In actual fact, it's not even the goals, the guys up front. It's a lack of creating goals. Would I be right saying that? Because, I mean, that game you had loads and loads of possession, but you're not creating many chances. They've scored an early goal, and that was it.
Yeah, I mean, the Livy game, we were very disappointed in that game, and I thought, given that we'd beaten Killie and Dundee United, I thought, this is an opportunity here to get some points, but I just don't know what it is. Like, just sometimes you get that break and then they come back and they're just not the team. There's just no spark there. Second half, they were better in the second half, but first half they just looked sort of like sluggish.
The cohesion's not there.
Yeah, I think because the rhythm's been broken up by the break. I think that makes a difference. But to come to that Livingston game, right? So you get beat. That was the last game he's played. He's played Livingston. You get beat 2-1. Again, from watching the limited highlights that I can. Eachy peachy in terms of possession. Lot of decent football by your side. However, you guys had 11 shots with 1 on target, and you scored 1 goal. They had 13 shots with 7 on target. It's kind of saying a lot in it. There seems to be
I mean, you look at the Motherwell game, exact same, Ichi Peachy, red card, and then the game's lost. And obviously you battered Dundee United.
Yeah, the red card made a difference in that game, and they took advantage of that. They made that extra man work, and you could see it as soon as that changed the whole complexion of the game completely. But yeah, I mean, it's not going to be easy. We know that, and it's we just have to just keep our heads down, look at our own games, and don't be looking at what else. We know what's happening elsewhere. We just have to go our way.
Easy to say.
I know.
I think, I mean, the Dundee United game, for those who didn't know, Dundee, on the 25th of February, he's battled Dundee United 4-1 at Victoria Park, 4-0, should I say. And like I'd already said, that left you guys sitting second bottom, one place off of Kilmarnock and 2 points above Dundee United. Now, Dundee United aren't in great shape. They're playing Rangers this Saturday. You guys are playing us this Sunday. So, without wanting to come across patronising and kind of black, this is almost a right-half weekend. Kilmarnock must be looking at this weekend and kind of going, right, this is the one for us. So, should Kilmarnock stumble then? I mean, I think, again, you tell me, from watching the stuff, I think you guys are certainly good enough to go and get that 10th spot. I mean, I think 9th is kind of maybe a wee bit out, but 10th is certainly doable. I mean, from watching you guys, I think you've been better than Dundee United and Kilmarnock this
season. Yeah, I would agree, and I think we've got enough about our squad, like Danda, Brophy, White. I think there's enough around our squad to actually to secure that 10th place.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure that'll be getting drilled into them, and if we can get anything other than that, then great. But I think we've got enough, to be able to secure that. We just need to just cut out any kind of silly mistakes at the back and focus.
I'd also be confident, should you end up in the playoff, I'd be confident that you would be the strongest. I mean, Dundee seem to be coming onto their own in the championship. Queen's Park seem to be faltering a wee bit.
Yeah.
And I'd say you're the strongest out of them as well. So I certainly think you've got hope. I think Dundee United are in a lot of trouble, but that's for a different podcast. Right. Before we go to this weekend's game, let's just have a wee look back at the 3 games and just get your thoughts on the 3 games so far, right? So we had that game in August. And I don't think Celtic played particularly well at the start of the season. And this game was a kind of a show of it. However, we've certainly showed we've got balls and we've got bottle. Now, as I remember, it was a stuffy game. It was 0-0 at half-time. Kyogo scored very early in the second half, but Ikaveti equalised. And then we scored 2 late goals to make it 3-1 and make it look all pretty and lovely. But at that point, you must have been, by the way, we're in for a good season here.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I think we always kind of sort of raise our games against anybody that's coming up here that's a bigger team. And if it's a televised game or whatever, or whether they're just, if it's Celtic or Rangers, then we're obviously going to lift our game because it's a big glamour game for the players. The players are on a stage. So, I must admit when I saw it sort of like 1-1, I thought, oh, here we go. We might actually sneak something here, and it would have been completely unexpected if it had happened, But you never write off, especially you guys at the moment, like you're so quick going forward. That's the problem, and it's like you've got all these options that you can take off the bench, like
that's it.
People like that, and you just think, wow, it's. You look at the difference in between the 2 teams, and you think it would really need us to have like an amazing day, and we have to work 100% harder against you guys or Rangers than we would against anybody else, because we're running all over the place, trying to stay in your face, trying to know that you play your game, so. They'll be getting that drilled into them for Sunday. They'll be saying, look, you have to be on this. You give them an inch, look out.
Aye.
You know?
Hopefully Celtic maybe got their eye on the following week. I wouldn't think so, but you've kind of got
possibly.
to
And the other thing as well is with the international break and that as well, you know, it's maybe broken up a bit of the rhythm and.
It'd be interesting to see who's actually turns out for Celtic, because Maeda come back early, but I'm led to believe that was just his own choice. Abada come back injured, Tony Ralston come back injured, and Hatate obviously went off in the Hibs game, and Hatate's ended up a very, very important player for Celtic, like an excellent player. Do you know what I mean? So it'd be interesting to see. Right, so there's not really much else to chat about. I'm going to ask you, what's your thoughts on the game? How do you think you'll set up? What do you think the score will be? And then just in general, how do you think the season's going to finish off for Ross County?
I think for Sunday, I think we'll go for it. You know, if I'm honest, I don't think Malky will. I think he'll just say, look, you know, we just play our football, you know, and not worry too much about who we're playing. You know, we just have to just get in there and just, you know, two up front, just go for it, guys. You know, two gifted players. Just try and take something from the game. You know, it's very difficult. I can still see Celtic squeezing it because of the quality and the talent. So 2-1 maybe to Celtic. I don't think there'll be much in it.
Right, okay.
You know, it might be a wee sneaky option for us to get a draw, but that's me hoping. You know, I can't see us getting a win on Sunday.
Well, VAR's out there, mate.
Well, that's right. Unless something, yeah. Unless Hugh Dallas is in VAR. But, I don't know, but season-wise, I'd fancy us to get 10th. I do fancy us to get 10th. I think we might just sneak that. And if we do, I'll be delighted, because I just don't want the additional games with the playoffs and all that comes with that, you know, because although it favours the Premiership team because the other teams have to play each other and whatever else, you know, I still think it would be a nervy thing. And, you know, wouldn't be a nice game to play in, I don't think. So we'll see, but appreciate the call, Scott, and appreciate
love it, mate. I love hearing about your club, and I wish you and the club all the very best. Obviously, after the weekend, I hope you do stay up. I hope you get that 10th spot for you, if only for you. But if you want to tell anybody they want to follow you on Twitter or stuff like that.
Yeah, it's at RCFC SLO for Twitter, and on Instagram it's KennyM2509.
Amazing. Kenny, once again, thank you very much for taking your time out. And
no problem at all, Scott.
All the best, pal.
All the best, mate.